Tonight, we begin a long, quiet, and deeply transformative journey into the most critical yet most neglected part of your entire day. In a small, traditional wooden house located on the quiet, historic outskirts of Kyoto, a young woman steps into a dimly lit room filled only with low, warm, ambient lighting. The clock hanging on the wall shows that it is exactly 9 p.m. She does not look at a bright smartphone screen. She does not check her stressful work emails, and she does not look at social media notifications. She does not think about the difficult stress of her job, the heavy responsibilities of her life, or the endless list of tasks that wait for her the next morning. Instead, she slowly and mindfully walks over to a large wooden window, slides it open with her hands, and allows the cool, fresh night air to flow completely through the room for just a brief, quiet moment. She is preparing a simple, unhurried evening routine that has been carefully passed down through her family for many generations. She is 24 years old. She has never spent hours running on an expensive treadmill at the gym. She does not count every single calorie on a digital application on her phone. She does not follow any complicated, strict nutritional rules or dietary restrictions. Yet, her energy remains completely stable throughout the entire day. Her mind is completely calm, and her body easily maintains a healthy, lean shape year after year without any strict, painful, or punishing diets. At this exact same moment, thousands of miles across the world, another person is sitting in a brightly lit room under harsh, white artificial light. They are anxiously checking their social media notifications, reading stressful world news headlines on their digital tablet, or perhaps drinking a large, hot cup of green tea because they honestly believe it is good for their health. They are doing absolutely everything the modern fitness, health, and wellness industry tells them to do. They eat clean, organic foods, they carefully track their daily movement on a smartwatch, and they try their absolute best to stay healthy. But when they look in the mirror at the end of the day, they still see stubborn weight around their middle that refuses to go away, no matter how hard they try. They feel incredibly tired and heavy when they open their eyes in the morning, and they feel a deep, disturbing sense of anxiousness when they lie down to sleep at night. They spend their days rushing, their afternoons crashing, and their evenings worrying. What if the true difference between these two lives has almost nothing to do with what you do during the active daytime hours, and almost everything to do with a single, invisible chemical pattern that takes completely over your brain and your body in the precise hours before you close your eyes? What if your body is not storing fat because you lack willpower or because you made a mistake with your diet, but because your current evening routine is quietly forcing your nervous system to stay in a state of high alert all night long? What if the simple act of looking at your phone or drinking the wrong beverage at night is making your body think it is constantly under attack? By the end of this video, you will understand the exact biological mechanics of your evening hours. You will discover why the very things you do to relax before bed might actually be working against your metabolic health. And you will learn 4 small, free, and completely silent evening shifts used for centuries in Japan. These specific habits can completely change your sleep quality, lower your internal stress hormones, and help your body enter a natural state of deep physical recovery as early as tonight. You will learn the clear connection between nighttime peace and daytime health. Before we examine these 4 habits in deep detail, we must tear down a major wall that the modern wellness industry has built around us. Most people believe a simple, unquestioned rule. If you want to change your body, your health, and your energy, you must focus entirely on your morning and your daytime hours. We are told to wake up early, to push our bodies hard, to stay active every single minute, and to focus on daytime discipline. But your biological body does not operate on a simple mechanical switch that turns on at sunrise and turns off at sunset. It operates on a continuous, beautifully flowing cycle where the night creates the day and the day creates the night. If you do not fix the night, you can never truly fix the day. Every cell in your body has its own internal clock, and these clocks need a clear sign that the day is over so they can start cleaning up waste, repairing microdamage, and restoring balance. When you ignore this natural rhythm, your daytime discipline becomes a fight against your own biology. When you struggle with stubborn weight at your waistline, or when you feel a constant low-level anxiety in your mind, your body is giving you a very clear physical signal. It is telling you that it does not feel safe enough to rest. When the human body perceives constant danger, constant noise, or constant stimulation, it immediately enters a protective state. In the language of modern science, this state is driven by a powerful hormone you have probably heard of before. Cortisol. Cortisol is often called the stress hormone, but it is not a biological mistake or a flaw in our design. It is absolutely necessary for our survival. In the morning, a natural, healthy surge of cortisol helps you open your eyes, feel alert, and meet the demands of the world. But nature designed this hormone to drop slowly and steadily as the sun goes down. By the time the evening arrives, your internal cortisol levels should be at their absolute lowest point of the entire 24-hour cycle, allowing another vital hormone, melatonin, to rise gently, put you to sleep, and heal your cells while you rest. When you introduce modern forms of stimulation into your evening hours, even things that seem completely harmless, you create a chaotic and unnatural hormonal pattern. Your biological body cannot tell the difference between the stress of a work email and the real physical danger of an environmental threat. It keeps your cortisol level incredibly high when it should be dropping to zero. And when cortisol remains elevated during the night, your body completely shifts its internal metabolism. It does not burn energy, it stores it. It stores it directly around your vital organs, in the deep abdominal area, as an emergency reserve for a crisis that never ends. You can eat perfectly and exercise intensely during the daytime, but if your evening hormones are completely out of balance, your body will stay trapped in this protective, fat-storing mode forever. So, how do we fix this broken pattern? Japan has some of the lowest rates of metabolic stress, abdominal obesity, and sleep disorders in the entire modern world. When researchers look deeply into the daily lives of the people living there, they do not find secret medications, special supplements, or extreme exercise programs. They find a deep cultural respect for the natural transitions of the day. They find a beautiful art of letting go when the sun sets. They understand that you cannot force the body into health. You must create the right conditions for it to heal itself. Let us explore the 4 specific evening habits that create this perfect biological balance, looking at both the ancient philosophy and the modern neuroscience behind each one. The first habit is a fundamental shift in how we treat the air, the climate, and the temperature of the exact places where we sleep. It is a practice tied directly to the traditional Japanese concept of changing seasons and natural purity, but its scientific reality is found in the deep architecture of human sleep. In many Western households, the bedroom is kept at the same constant artificial temperature all day and all night. We come home from work, we turn on the central heating or the air conditioning, and we tightly close all the windows to keep the outside world out. But as you spend hours inside a closed room, the overall quality of the air slowly and steadily degrades. The levels of carbon dioxide rise, the oxygen levels drop, and the air becomes stagnant, heavy, dry, and dead. You are breathing in the spent energy of yesterday over and over again. The Japanese alternative is incredibly simple but highly effective. The evening airing of the room, often combined with a deliberate natural drop in temperature. Before preparing for rest, windows are opened wide for just 5 to 10 minutes to allow the stale, heavy air to escape completely and fresh, cool, oxygen-rich night air to enter the sleeping space. This quick exchange of air changes the entire energetic and physical feel of the room, making it feel fresh, light, and alive. Why does this small 5-minute action have such a massive, measurable impact on your evening biology? Stanford researchers and sleep scientists have shown that for your brain to initiate deep, truly restorative sleep, your core body temperature must drop by about 2 degrees Fahrenheit. If your bedroom is too warm, or if the air is heavy, stale, and trapped, your body has to work incredibly hard all night long just to cool itself down. This constant internal effort keeps your heart rate elevated, causes small micro awakenings, and completely prevents your brain from entering the deepest, most healing stages of sleep, which scientists call slow wave sleep. Slow-wave sleep is the exact time when your body actively repairs its muscle tissues, balances its blood sugar levels, releases human growth hormone, and naturally lowers its overall cortisol levels. If you miss this vital stage because your room is too warm or because the air lacks fresh oxygen, you wake up the next morning feeling exhausted, and your stress hormones remain high from the very moment you open your eyes. Your body starts the day already in debt, struggling to find balance because it never truly recovered during the dark hours of the night. You feel a physical weight before your feet even touch the floor. By opening your bedroom window briefly in the evening, you do two powerful things simultaneously. First, you lower the physical temperature of the immediate environment, signaling directly to your hypothalamus that the day is over and it is time to rest. Second, you increase the fresh oxygen levels in the room, which allows your breathing to become naturally slower, deeper, and more relaxed. The Japanese call this creating a clean space, a room where the heavy energy of the day can move out and leave you in peace. Tonight, try this small shift before you go to bed. Open your bedroom window for just 5 minutes. Let the cool air refresh the entire space. Step into a room that feels crisp, clean, and ready for deep rest. You are sending your nervous system a direct physical cue that the active day is officially over and you are completely safe. This simple shift is the foundation of ancient sleep design. When you allow external nature to correct your internal climate, your body stops fighting its surroundings and releases the mechanical defense protocols that keep you awake. Your heart rate slows down, your breathing stabilizes, and your mind understands that it is time to surrender to the darkness. This simple practice of clearing out the old daytime air also acts as a mental reminder, helping you let go of your daily worries, your unfinished conversations, and your stress. You create a physical boundary between the noise of the day and the quiet of the night. This brings us directly to the second habit, which happens in the bathroom but completely changes your entire cardiovascular system. It is perhaps the most famous part of Japanese daily life, yet the West completely misunderstands how it actually works. It is the practice of the deep evening bath, known traditionally as Ofuro. In the West, a bath or a shower is often seen as a purely functional, mechanical task. It is something we do quickly to clean our skin, often in the morning before we rush out the door to go to work, or quickly at night to wash away dirt. If we do take a bath at night in a Western home, we usually sit in the tub while we wash ourselves, soaking in water that slowly grows cold, gray, and cloudy with soap, chemicals, and dead skin cells. The very water meant to clean us becomes a pool of our daily exhaustion. In Japan, the evening bath is never, ever used for washing the body. It is an entirely separate ritual dedicated exclusively to physical and mental restoration. As we discussed earlier, a person cleans, scrubs, and rinses their entire body completely using a separate shower head and a small stool before they ever step into the bath water. The tub itself is filled with deep, perfectly clean hot water designed for full body immersion all the way up to the shoulders. When you step into a clean, hot ofuro at the end of a long, stressful day, a fascinating and beautiful chain reaction occurs inside your cardiovascular system. The intense, deep warmth of the water immediately dilates your blood vessels, a medical process called vasodilation. This immediately draws blood away from your stressed, overworked internal organs and redirects it gently toward the surface of your skin. Your heart rate gently slows down, your tight muscles release their hidden tension, and your nervous system completely shifts out of sympathetic mode, which is the fight-or-flight state, and enters parasympathetic mode, which is the beautiful state of deep rest, safety, and digestion. You feel the physical weight of the world lifting away from your shoulders. But the most magical and surprising part of this habit happens after you get out of the hot water. Because the hot bath brought all your blood directly to the surface of your skin, your body begins to rapidly lose heat the very moment you step into the cooler air of your home. This causes a sudden, rapid, and deep drop in your core body temperature. As we just learned, a rapid drop in core body temperature is the exact biological trigger your brain needs to release a massive, healthy surge of melatonin into your bloodstream. A major study analyzed thousands of data points and confirmed that taking a warm bath or shower 90 minutes before bed significantly accelerates the onset of deep sleep. It does not just help you fall asleep much faster, it completely restructures the quality and depth of your entire night, increasing the amount of time you spend in deep, restorative sleep. The Western bath is a place to clean the outside of the skin. The Japanese Ofuro is a powerful medicine for the inside of the body. It completely washes away the invisible emotional stress of the day before it can harden into permanent, chronic anxiety. If you do not have a deep Japanese soaking tub in your home, you can still practice this habit perfectly. Take a warm, relaxing shower exactly an hour and a half before your planned sleep time. Do not rush through it. Let the warm water heat your body thoroughly and then step out into a cool room. Watch how quickly your mind grows quiet as your body temperature naturally falls down. Your heart rate becomes smooth, your breathing rhythms align perfectly with the night, and your mind drops the heavy, intellectual patterns of daytime work. The warm water acts as a boundary line. Everything that happened before the bath belongs to the past. Everything that happens after belongs to rest. When you clean your skin before stepping into the warmth, you are also making a clear choice to separate yourself from the busy outside world. You step into the water with your daily history, and you step out with a blank page. The third evening habit requires us to look very closely at what we consume in the hours before rest, and it directly challenges a very common Western habit that many people think is perfectly healthy. It is the strict rule of the evening pause on liquids and stimulants, connected deeply to the Japanese concept of which means the intentional space, the quiet gap, or the beautiful pause. Think about a typical evening in a modern home. We finish our dinner, we sit down on the couch to relax, and we very often reach for a beverage. It might be a glass of wine to unwind from the stress of our job, or it might be a large, heavy mug of hot herbal tea or green tea because we believe it helps our health and digestion. We sit on the couch, slowly sipping our drink until the exact moment we go to bed. We treat our mouths and stomachs as if they are meant to be active right until our eyes close. But let us look at what this habit does to your internal biology and your sleep cycles. First, consider the mechanical timing of fluids. When you drink a large volume of water, tea, or any liquid right before lying flat in bed, you heavily overload your bladder. During deep sleep, your brain normally releases a specific hormone called antidiuretic hormone, which naturally slows down kidney function so your body can rest continuously and peacefully for 7 or 8 hours without any interruption. But if you drink too much liquid late at night, you force your kidneys to stay highly active. You wake up at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. to use the bathroom. Even if you do not fully remember waking up, your brain is violently pulled out of its deepest, most restorative sleep cycles. You break the natural continuity of your rest, and you wake up the next morning with higher baseline stress, a foggy brain, and low energy. Second, consider the hidden stimulants that many people ignore. Many people drink green tea or specialty wellness beverages in the evening, thinking they are absorbing healthy nutrients. But green tea naturally contains caffeine. Even very small amounts of caffeine consumed late in the day can block the adenosine receptors in your brain for many hours. Adenosine is the natural chemical that builds up in your head all day long as you stay awake, creating what scientists call sleep pressure. It is that heavy, beautiful, natural feeling that makes you want to close your eyes at night. If you block those vital receptors with late-day stimulants, your brain simply cannot track its own fatigue. You might eventually fall asleep because you are completely exhausted, but the actual quality of that sleep will be shallow, fragmented, and completely unrefreshing. You are sleeping on the surface, never dropping into the deep well of recovery. The Japanese approach to the evening is to create a deliberate, respectful boundary around consumption. In traditional homes, large meals and significant fluid intake are finished several hours before sleep. If a warm drink is taken in the late evening, it is a very small, traditional cup of roasted barley tea, known as mujicha, which is completely, naturally caffeine-free and highly soothing to the digestive system. By practicing this evening pause, by stopping major fluid and food intake 2 to 3 hours before bed, you give your entire digestive tract time to rest. Your stomach finishes its heavy physical labor. Your liver can focus entirely on clearing out metabolic waste instead of processing new nutrients, and your bladder remains completely calm throughout the entire night. You allow your body to experience a quiet, undisturbed gap where no external input is forced into the delicate system. Tonight, try to close your kitchen early. Stop drinking large amounts of liquids after 8 p.m. Let your body enter the nightlight, clean and unburdened by the weight of constant digestion. This creates an internal sanctuary. When the metabolic fires are allowed to rest, your cellular repair systems can begin their nightly work without any interruption. Your body can focus on healing instead of processing. This simple gap gives your internal organs the time and space they need to refresh themselves for the coming day. You give your digestive system the same evening break you wish your mind could have. This brings us to the fourth and perhaps the most difficult evening habit of all in our modern world. It is the one that completely protects your mind from the greatest source of modern contamination and mental noise. It is the practice of protecting the final 30 minutes of your day from digital inputs, an idea rooted deeply in the ancient concept of Saijaku, which means stillness, tranquility, and silence. Let us look completely honestly at how most of us end our day. We crawl into bed, we pull up our warm blankets, and we immediately pick up our smartphones. We scroll through short videos, we read the news, we check our financial accounts, or we text our friends. We tell ourselves we are just winding down, that we are just relaxing before we sleep. We look at a small, glowing box of chaos and expect our minds to remain calm. But your brain does not read a smartphone screen as relaxation. It reads it as an absolute emergency. Every single piece of information you see, a new message, a stressful headline, a bright image, triggers a tiny, rapid release of dopamine paired with a tiny spike of cortisol in your brain. Your mind is forced to process new data, to make micro-decisions, and to constantly react to the outside world. Your brain is working at maximum speed when it should be closing down. It keeps your mind tethered to the problems of the outside world, making it impossible to find internal peace. You are inviting 1,000 strangers into your bed right before you try to sleep. Furthermore, the physical light coming from that screen is a biological disaster for your evening hormones. Your eyes contain specialized cells called intrinsically photosensitive retinal ganglion cells. These cells are designed by evolution to detect the specific blue light of the morning sky. When that blue light hits your eyes at 6 a.m., it tells your brain to stop producing melatonin and to start producing cortisol to wake you up. When you hold a bright digital screen inches from your face at 10 p.m., you are sending your brain a clear, powerful signal that the sun is rising, that it is morning, and that it must stay awake. Leading neuroscientists have shown that this late-night digital stimulation completely flattens your melatonin curve. It delays your sleep, keeps your nervous system in a hyper-reactive state, and forces your body to spend the first several hours of the night trying to calm down instead of repairing your cells. This is why you can sleep for 8 hours and still wake up feeling completely exhausted, heavy, and stressed. You did not give your brain a chance to shut down gently. You forced it to crash while running 50 different programs at once. The concept of Saijaku means protecting the final half hour of your night as a sacred space of silence. In Japan, this time is not filled with input. The phone is placed face down across the room or in another space entirely. The lights are dimmed low. The mind is allowed to naturally slow its pace, mirroring the darkening world outside. You do not need to do anything complicated during these 30 minutes. You can stretch your muscles gently on the floor. You can write down a few simple thoughts in a paper notebook to clear your head. You can read a single chapter of a physical book under a soft, warm light. The goal is not to be productive. The goal is to let your operating system finish its work and close down with peace. Think of your brain like a highly complex computer. You would never pull the power cord out of the wall while all your heavy software is still running. But that is exactly what you do when you stare at your phone until the second you close your eyes. Give your mind 30 minutes of stillness. Let your thoughts settle like dust in a quiet room. When the mental static clears, your deep biological sleep architecture can slide into place smoothly. Your dreams become calmer, your rest becomes deeper, and you wake up without that heavy sense of morning dread. This period of quiet is the final gift you give to yourself each day. It is an act of self-respect. Let us bring all 4 of these evening shifts together into a single, flowing order because the sequence matters just as much as the individual actions themselves. Each habit prepares the body for the next, creating a perfect pathway into deep rest. When they are performed in this specific order, they create an undeniable harmony inside your nervous system. First, open your bedroom window for 5 minutes to bring in cool, fresh air and lower the room temperature. This prepares your physical environment. You step out of the heavy daytime world. Second, take a warm, unhurried shower or bath an hour or 2 before rest to trigger a natural melatonin release as your body cools down. This prepares your cardiovascular system. You wash away the physical tension. Third, create an evening pause by stopping heavy food and fluid intake several hours before bed, allowing your digestive system to go completely offline. This prepares your internal metabolic systems. You give your organs a chance to rest. And fourth, practice Saijaku by turning off your digital screens 30 minutes before sleep, protecting your eyes from blue light and your mind from constant reaction. This prepares your consciousness. You close the door to the outside world and let silence take over. None of these habits require you to buy expensive equipment, join a gym, or follow a complicated nutritional plan. They require no money at all. What they require is a single, beautiful choice. A choice to treat the end of your day not as wasted time or empty space, but as a period of profound physical, emotional, and mental recovery. It is an investment in your sanity and your health. Your body is an incredibly wise, self-regulating system. It wants to be lean, it wants to be calm, and it wants to feel vibrant and alive. But it cannot do that work if you never give it a true evening. The stubborn weight at your waistline and the constant fatigue in your mind were never failures of your character or willpower. They were simply the biological results of an endless, unceasing day. You have been forcing your body to look for a rest that you never allowed it to find. Tonight, do not wait for next week, next month, or a better time to begin. Do not wait until you are less busy or less stressed. Start with just one small shift. Tonight, leave your phone on the other side of the room before you get into bed. Open your window for just 5 minutes. Let the fresh air enter your space. Lie down in the cool darkness and let your nervous system finally feel that it is completely safe. Allow yourself to enter the night with no expectations, no inputs, and no noise. The young woman in Kyoto does not look at her evening as a strict set of rules, an intense health program, or a chore. To her, it is simply how a peaceful day comes to a close. It is how she honors her body, protects her mind, and prepares herself to meet the next morning with absolute clarity, beauty, and strength. If these ideas have changed the way you think about your evening hours, consider sharing this perspective with someone in your life who is trying their best to stay healthy, but is still struggling to find peace and balance. They may be just one quiet evening away from discovering exactly what needs to change. Thank you for spending this time exploring the science and philosophy of natural rest. Take care of your space, protect your quiet hours, and we will see you in our next journey.